Hi Michael, it's Corey. How you doing? Corey Stone. I sent you an email a little while ago regarding the edit program. I put it here on the board like this for a reason. However, I did want to just say hi and remind you of who I am a little bit. I met your dad unofficially, I guess not face to face, during some work we were doing with Western Auto Group years back, looking at websites and website development, and your dad and I think connected, not just on a professional level, but on a friendship level, especially with our same faith and sharing those things and finding people in business who believe as you do. It's not always easy, as you know. But today I wanted to just touch base with you again on the edit program. It's not a program that's easily understood by all, but one of the things, I wanted to make sure of is that you understood the importance of this program, Michael. When I started preparing this back in 2018, I think is when I really started, August of 2018, or maybe even slightly before that, the idea came to me. I was doing it to try and help, create something for our team to help them get more focused. We were in trouble hitting our goals and trying to reach that new level. And just a little bit of background on that. In 2015, I took over Fairway Honda for Steel Auto Group. I moved from the Western Auto Group into the Steel Auto Group, and from a Mazda store. And when I went to the Mazda store, I hired all the staff, started fresh. We bought it, replaced it, a lot of the employees, new people, created the culture, created the vision, created the processes, and everybody learned as if this was the way we did the job. However, moving into the Honda store, I moved into a store that was 20 years behind in culture, 20 years behind in process. It was unbelievable, actually. I was surprised, but the brand is so strong. It was a good store, it was a profitable store. The owner came from a different business than the automotive business, and he entrusted the leadership there to lead the store. So, he was a good businessman, and he understood how to make money, and he knew he had to, create more revenue than he paid out in expenses, basically. And he was good at managing that. But the culture in the store, the behavior in the store was unbelievable. It was a broken store. The parts and service department hated the sales department. There was no communication there. The used car department at that time was an off-site location, and it was suffering. The manager there, great guy, great sales guy, very ambitious, older gentleman, but he couldn't make any money in that store in the used car side because the guy that was being entrusted overseeing the store was really a new car guy, and he suited everything to the new cars, and he paid retail for lots of trades. So the culture was so bad. The top performing salesperson, a great guy again, 200 plus cars, but he would write a deal, name of a customer and a phone number, give it to the business office, and say, call this customer, don't sell them this, don't offer that, I've already talked to them, I get the payment bill, just get their application. And this is what was happening in the store. And I was excited to go there because I said, wow, it's going to be a nice step up from Mazda in volume and opportunity. And 2 weeks later, I was home with my wife, and I said, honey, what did I do? I came from a fantastic store. My Mazda store was reaching a 9% market share, one of the highest in Canada. We had reached a #1 ranking in CSI Atlantic Canada, #3 in all of Canada. We were the top performer with their business office products, especially the Mazda Added Protection, which is big for Mazda. We had retention, 3rd highest in the country in service. We were just having a great time there, but the team was built, the culture was established, the vision was given, and everybody was on the right direction. And I said, honey, what did I do? How did I get here? And she said, Corey, God did not put you there unless you were equipped for the job and resource. And I said, you're right. And what I learned, Michael, at that point was about culture, more about culture than ever. And I also recognized that, in a store, there's two levels of culture. And this was one of the greatest learning experiences I had, this encounter with Honda. You see, the store and the employees and the different departments each have individual cultures and behaviors and belief systems within them. And then you've got a management team and a leadership team and an ownership team that have differing belief systems and cultures. So what happens in a store like that is if you bring in new ideas, you bring in a new guy like myself who's got these different ideas and want to build processes and understands, some new things about the industry that they've not been exposed to, not because they're not great people, but it's because they haven't been exposed to it. Then you have a real challenge, because as you bring in new ideas, it gets rejected. And the only way new ideas, third-party vendors, marketing plans, lead generation systems, the only way these things can work in a store is if the culture of the store in a certain department, especially in the leadership, is stronger than the employees. And in most cases you'll find that a lot of these things don't work, even though they introduce them, because the staff culture is so strong that they either reject it or they accept it. And if they reject it, then the leadership team has got a real bad challenge on their hands. Because in order to get them to move to the new levels and the new direction, and to improve efficiencies and bottom lines and KPIs and all the terminology, I'm not here today to talk about the terminology. I loved the car business. I was doing it for 23 years. I had in-depth knowledge in all the areas and the numbers. I love the numbers as well. But I'm here today to talk about a philosophy. I'm here today to talk about a program. I'm here today, Michael, to share with you a new way to elevate stores. Stores that are in the basement, bring them up. Stores that are in mid-level, to bring them up. And the stores that want to get to the top 10% of their brand, to bring them up. In order to do that, there's got to be a continuous program of growth that develops culture and vision within the store. And I'm sure I'm not sharing anything with you that you don't already recognize or realize, based on some of the things that I've seen you do, a couple of podcasts. I understand that that's true for you, and you get that. But the biggest challenge in most stores is not that they don't have the knowledge. They have the knowledge, they have all the skills, they have the applications and the programs and the CRMs, but they don't have the ability to bridge the gap. And this is what EDIT does. EDIT program. It bridges the gap between where the dealers are, and to where they would like to go. And it's simply a learning system. That's it. It's a design learning system that uses daily performance plans to organize the way the productive employees work, to ensure that they consistently touch these things, to build work patterns and habits, replace old ones, build in new ones that are more efficient, that ensure to focus on the right areas for return on investment, to create customer experience, and most of all, to recreate a culture that's exciting and an atmosphere that's conducive to growth. And I can tell you that in the Honda, in 2 years from that time my wife made that statement to 2017, and we're preparing to move into a new store. We were in a 9,000 square foot store, small footprint. We were selling, when I started there, just over 500. When I left there, 600 new cars and 350 used cars. We were growing the business, and it was exciting. And but yet we were moving from a small store into a palace, 26,000 square feet, beautiful store, one of the most beautiful stores. And you can see it if you want to look at some pictures. Go into Fairway Honda in Newfoundland, and you'll see some of the photos. Hopefully are there. So the mindset was still not to a place where we needed to be, because when we got into that store, we were like people, or our staff was, and I spent 2 years developing their mindset and developing their culture and developing that behavior and that belief system, so that when we got there, we could operate that store. Because when they got in there, it's like, where am I? Do I belong here? And all the old behaviors, no fears came up, And that was a challenge. In the first year, it took us some time to adjust to our workspace, to where we were, to believe that we could actually run this store and make money. And again, another challenge. In order to get there, I had to create a program, as I said, EDIT. And Michael, EDIT stands for, engineered, and I'm going to engineered, bear with me, engineered development. If I spell this wrong, don't hold it against me. I never claimed to be a great speller, by the way. Improvement. And of course, training. T-R-A-I-N. Help me out here, yeah. Training. That's what it stands for. It's an engineered development, improvement, training program. Michael, and the reason I named it this, and it's funny how it all came together, because we really needed to stop and do an edit, a correction. You look up the word, in the dictionary, you'll find that basically edit is just I think it's just a change. Now I'm looking down here because I got some things down here, but edit is a change or a correction made as a result of editing. So when I say it's engineered, the plan is designed specifically for a purpose, to accomplish something and create a result. Like a car is engineered for a purpose, this plan is engineered and created with a specific purpose. Development, well, development basically means we're evolving, we're growing, and it's about continuous growth. Improvement, well, I know I don't have to explain this, but I want to give you an idea of where we're coming from, because this program is just not for anyone. It's for the dealers who have a genuine desire to grow. It's for the dealers that have a genuine desire to become significant in the industry and make a difference and an impact, not only in the industry, but in your community and in the lives of their staff. And that's what's so amazing about this whole program. Improvement, well, it's increasing, getting better, moving to higher standards, elevating yourself and striving for those higher standards and creating that in your store. And of course, training is about repetition. It's about doing it over and over. And, repetition is the first law of learning. So, this is what the plan is about, and this is the idea of the plan. So when you put it together, it's the EDIT program. And the EDIT program is just simply, if you don't mind my taking a second to do this, it's just simply a it's a learning system. That's what it is. It's just a learning system. And if we learn how to operate under these programs, then what we'll find is the result is the dollars will naturally show up, just like fruit on a tree. It shows up. You can have a tree that bears bad fruit or a tree that bears good fruit. What determines the difference is the environment and the culture in which the tree is planted. You can have nice sweet apples and you can have, yucky apples. It depends what's nourishing that tree and where it's planted. Culture is cool because culture is within the people. And when we have the culture within the people, when we take the people from where they are and put them into a new geographical area, the culture and their behavior and belief system goes with them. So it's like, for example, let's say Toronto. Toronto is a Canadian city, but if you go into Toronto, you've got Chinatown, you've got Little Italy, you've got probably a Greek area, you've got Puerto Ricans, you've got Mexico, you've got all kinds of little different communities. And they come to Canada and they come into our environment, and when they get into our environment, what comes with them is the culture, and it's imprinted upon them, and then within those environments they create their own stores, their own communities, their own belief systems. So really, if I wanted to experience Little Italy or Italy, for example, I could just go to Toronto and go into the community and I'd be immersed in their culture. Culture dominates the areas in which it is. So when you go into a new store, or you go into an organization that's been established, the culture is there. Now, if I want to impress upon the people that are there my belief system and my culture and my way of getting things done, then I need to have a more dominant culture and belief system within me in order to override and change and develop their belief system. This is what Edit program does. It's a daily performance plan. It consists of 19 different plans that are developed to create a focus on the most productive areas and required areas for each productive employee. For example, I didn't get a chance to launch the full program at Fairway. That's one of the last things I did before I resigned. And I don't want to be too long and take too much of your time, so I'm going to try to get to the point here with this. And really the point is, Michael, this is something I believe that's going to change the industry. It can help a lot of dealers who are struggling and wondering why I can't get there. I would go to my service manager and I'd say, Eric, you know, here's where we are with this, and you know, we agreed that the selling gross needs to come up. We agreed that we need to get the hours per hour up. We agreed that, you know, Eric, what can I do? We've talked about plans of doing this. And he said, Corey, I know. And Eric's a fantastic guy, beautiful person, and a wonderful service manager in the business for 30 years. You can imagine how difficult it is for change for a gentleman like that. And he just did what he had to do to get through the day. They didn't really realize how to make money there, how to grow the business there, and the importance of the customer satisfaction and the employee satisfaction. So anyways, after doing our concept meetings for a period of time, you know, we had a great moderator, and our moderator was very knowledgeable, was excellent. I really enjoyed working with him. I learned a ton of information from him. But after 2 years or so, he would say, guys, what's going on in your store? Like, not just our store, because we had, you know, probably 17 stores in this auto group, import stores. We kind of went import, luxury, and domestic. So the import stores, maybe 15, I'm not sure. But anyways, we would come together, 15 to 17 at least, I think, import stores. And he'd say, guys, we've been going over this. What's happening in your stores? Is it the tail wagging the dog? And he'd look at the VP and he'd say, you know, VP, what's happening here? Can you understand why these guys aren't getting this? And nobody really could. It's not that we didn't have the knowledge. It's not that we didn't believe in it. The fact of the matter was that the tail was wagging the dog. And we didn't even recognize that when we were addressing it, because the culture of the employees determine what's going to happen. But if the culture of your leadership, your general managers, your dealer principals, the owners, or even the corporate structure is not stronger and growing, then anytime you bring something to a store, if it's accepted by the employees, great. If it's rejected, you're going to have a hard time doing it. So the number one thing we have to do is start developing the leadership and their cultures and their belief systems through growth programs. Edit allows us to do that. NCM Associates got a 2 or 3 page document that talks about what a GM should do every day. Edit program provides all that information to the GMs on a daily basis through the activities that are aligned for each person in their store and covers most of it. It creates a lot of time, creates a lot of efficiency, and creates some money. And as I was saying, the business office is one of the areas that we had a chance to roll out the program in, because we had to roll it out in stages. And it's not a program that happens overnight. It takes time. And I was hoping to grow about $200 a copy new cars. We were already performing at one of the highest in our group, I think $13.80 a copy, and it's a number I can share with you. That's from my memory on new cars. And but I wanted to get to the my goal was $18.50 a copy, basically $500. But I was hoping to get to $1,600, roughly $1,650 first. So we needed to get a couple of $100 bump, $250 bump. And so by rolling out this program, I was hoping to get at least a step towards it, $200. It amazed me, the success. I'm not kidding, it was awesome. We went into the program, and this is how we started. We met with the FSMs, we went over the items they sold, we asked, we got their engagement. in what they felt were strong in and where we could improve. We agreed upon a number that they actually built themselves. And once we got that number together, we put it on a target. We laid out their daily performance plan. We got them focused on the activities each day because they have to report back on this daily program. It becomes their thing. They are engaged. They're the ones that's filling it out, sending it back, and the information gets compiled by one of the administrators. It's a really cool idea. And what we discovered once they started looking at their numbers is that their numbers started, because they had to write in if they got the number for what they achieved that day, plus they had to write in the percentage of target, were they under or over. And then when you're doing that every day, and if you're coming under, you're looking at your game and you're saying, okay, what am I doing? And we had weekly meetings, so this is a full package. So we do a weekly meeting review, we review processes, and we work with First Canadian too, and they did a great job as well helping us, learn best practices and things like that. And we did that for years, but it wasn't until we put in this edit program with the daily performance plan that we saw a spike. Over $500. When I left in April, we were closing in on $2,000 a copy. That's in a Honda store, import. That's good numbers. That's with an increase in lease penetration, an increase in used car finance penetration, an increase in subprime deals, because all those were areas that they had to report on daily, and just to check off the boxes. And when we would go in the next day, how'd you do? It looks like you missed it here. Can you tell? Man, I'm telling you, it just started to grow. And through that repetition, the best practices started evolving. Presentations started growing. I saw the business managers getting together, FSMs, whatever you'd like to call them, get together, talk about their presentations. I mean, it was amazing. We started seeing the sales managers getting involved, and it just started evolving in the store. All of a sudden, the very idea that had come to me was that if we could build the processes right, if we could develop the culture and the belief system, if we could get a growth-minded attitude, and we started working at that consistently every day, we wouldn't have to worry about the dollars right here. Learning system. Let me show you why I say it's a learning system. They would naturally appear, just like fruit naturally appears. You see, and we spend so much time and energy fighting and struggling and striving to get to the right numbers, when, in all truth, Michael, the numbers will appear, and usually not just the numbers, but the experience and the staff morale and the customer, everything just shows up when we do these things correctly. When we follow a pattern, we build the right culture, and we've got engagement from the leadership, top leadership, right on down through the store, working with them, leading them, side by side, helping out, closing deals. It's amazing what we do, servant leadership, and that's not a culture that's heard of a lot. And but this program, edit program, works. I did some work in the service department that would amaze you as well, and I could go on talking about this. But today I just wanted to come in and share with you what we've got. This, Michael, in all honesty, the only thing I can tell you about this is that it's a learning system, okay? That's what this is. Edit program. It's a learning system. It's designed to create, like water is wet. You want to get wet, you jump in water, naturally you're wet. You want to get burned, well, put your hand in fire. The natural outcome is you get burned. So edit program is designed that way. I've got a full presentation that I put together, starting with the background for the idea, the self-discovery, requirements for the learning system, the program design, a learning system, a playbook. It's funny because I like what you have there, and I started calling it a playbook, that produces improved results. Einstein said you can't expect to solve a problem, a significant problem, at the same level of thinking that created or got you into the problem. Daily performance plans, which are excellent, and how they run, and it's 5 to 7 activities. Estimated forecast. I got an example here of an estimated forecast from one of the stores I worked in. I mean, it's amazing the results you can get. Sustainability long-term, a selection of options and investment levels that people would need, and of course getting started on the final agreements on how to move it in. So it's not for the weak at heart, as I said before, Michael. And I appreciate you taking the time to look at this with me. I know it's been long, but it's hard to say all this in in an email or without even a conversation on the phone. So I thought I'd take the time to send you a video. I would appreciate your feedback on this, and there's so much more to discuss. But hopefully this piqued your interest. I'm looking for a partner that would be willing to take a close look at this. This can change dealerships. It can change your relationship with the dealerships you're involved with. It can help them get to new levels. And it's only for those who want significance. It's only for those who want to grow. I'm not looking for to fill every dealership and every person. I'm looking to help people that want to get help, and I'm looking for people who want to change the environment that they're in. Looking for leaders who want to be change agents, and not just for their operations, but for their communities, for their staff, and for the lives of those around them. Everything improves with Edit Program. Thanks for your time, Michael, and I really appreciate you looking at this.